Gather around, kids. It's time for The Adventures of Cuckoldman. Mild-mannered Norman Bader's life was forever changed the day that he was bitten by radioactive pubic lice while watching his wife have sex with several men. This mutation resulted in extraordinary powers that Norman uses to fight crime as Cuckoldman.
Warning. Repeat Offender is a long-form open discussion podcast. Topics include sensitive issues such as sex, religion, politics, race, gender, death, BDSM, MFN, CFNM, MMF, MMFM, and healthcare. Do not try this at home.
Get your motherfucking ass up when I'm talking.
So hold on tight. The action starts now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
And here we go.
We're fucking recording. Well, let me throw this in. Let me try an intro, and if I don't like it, I'll get rid of it. Say I'm going to come at this as a guy with a smooth voice who drops a podcast every Friday night. It's Friday. That means it's time for Repeat Offender. I'm Reverend Sean Nuttall. Reverend. I just found that out recently. I applied to be a Reverend in the Universal Life Church, California, 14 years ago, and got an email about it that said, hey, how is your 14th year as a legally ordained minister? I don't know if it was a catharsis, but I just felt like God or whatever I paid for to represent God spoke to me. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going to call myself Reverend. Because you know what, here's the thing. And I learned this. I looked under the disclaimer on the website. I can legally write stuff off as a member of the clergy. Is that fucked up?
You can write the show off as...
I do. I have a $400 shirt, SM7B. And you know what? I use this, Nikki, to spread the good word.
Yes, you are spreading the good word.
And speaking of spreading, and speaking of needing absolution from sins, In Bed with Nikki.
Yes.
Found everywhere that you can find podcasts.
Everywhere.
And it's like one of those phrases nobody will ever say. You know what I mean? Or at least Google.
Yeah, no.
So you're up there. Like, you're fucking first. It's great. I like Repeat Offender. You Google that. I am nowhere in the first couple pages. Your podcast leaves nary a dry crotch in the theater.
You think?
It is, in a word, hot.
Thank you.
And I believe that's what you're going for.
Erotic and sensual, yes.
Yes, which just sends tingles just you saying those words. And the best part is I am
alone.
I am in bed with Nikki alone.
You are in bed with me. Uh-huh. Do you know how many men are jealous of you right now? And women?
Hundreds. And that's not counting you being here. Because normally that's how many I think are jealous of me. In the thousands now that you're part of this. And it's just it's an absolute pleasure. Like I said, thank you so much for even giving me an amount of time. I'm nobody. I'm not worthy in your presence.
Oh, thank you.
So
I'm blushing over here.
You fucking should be. And you know what? Here's the thing too. There's a lot of mystique because we're using Zoom and I can't see her. I have no idea what you look like.
Nobody does.
You're like Claw from Inspector Gadget. I have no idea what's going on that end. Next time, Gadget. Remember that show?
Yes, I grew up watching that show just for once. I think they did turn the chair around once and it was just a claw.
What?
Right?
No, but that would have been a ploy. Okay, so they made toys of Inspector Gadget.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember there was a Claw action figure and he had like white hair and he looked like an old candy shop owner, but he had like an angry face and he had like a claw. So I always just imagine him as an old guy with white hair. Like, what can he really be? Right? He's probably just a guy that owns a corporation that he probably looks like Elon Musk and has a claw.
That is a great picture, actually. Elon Musk with a claw.
What if it was Stephen Hawking? What if he was a villain?
Yeah, but then he wouldn't be able to move his fingers, so it's not him.
But what if he was just controlling all the world's evil with just a few or what did he do? Did he type or did he breathe? I don't know. Stephen Hawking would be terrifying as a goddamn villain.
Yeah.
Oh my God. R.I.P. Is he dead? Yeah, he's dead, right?
He's dead.
They made a movie about him. They can't make a movie about you if you're alive.
Well, that's true because Steve Jobs is dead and
Yeah, they probably were they made it until he died, and they're like, all right, cool, we can release it. That's sorry, I'm getting off track. Anyways, we are here on Valentine's Day. I am currently in bed with Nikki, and Nikki, let's talk about sex.
Oh, okay.
Tell me on your end. Tell me about In Bed with Nikki.
Well, as I explain, it's as complicated and as simple as it is. It's readers, or actually, it'd be people like you, write me anonymously their sexual confessions.
Anonymous. So, is there anybody that's not anonymous? It's like, dude, I'm a fucking pervert, and here's my address.
I have never received anybody's address.
Knock
have
on wood.
Knock on wood. Yet, I should say, I have had somebody on Twitter give me permission to use their first name, because I do change all names and places, but and since his first name was so common, I did use it.
Horatio.
No, it wasn't.
No, I was close.
It was Sean.
Are you shitting me?
No.
Oh my God, was it me?
It was you. It was
Did I write some weird stuff to you? Like, you know what? I'll be honest with you. If you're dressed like Mr. Peanut, gone. The monocle, the cane, send me to the moon, Captain. I wouldn't, it wasn't me because it was anonymous. I would 100%, I put my picture on there smiling, thumbs up, like, hey, Nikki, this is what I like that shit, huh? Put me on your Twitter space.
But what most of my listeners don't know, and maybe yours don't either, that I actually have an editor he reads the emails that come in and kind of just cleans them up and changes the names for me. So as you're listening to me read them, it's the first time I've read it.
And
awesome. So when you hear my thoughts, those are coming on my head immediately as I'm reading. So I have no clue what I'm reading until I've read it.
I love that.
Thank you.
More than I thought I would until you said that.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
But the guy that's like editing, it's like, wah, wah. He's like, let's take out floppy donkey dick and add beautiful sunrise.
No, he's kinky as shit. So
okay,
he leaves it in.
As you should. You know what I mean?
Yes, you should. Yeah, no, he leaves it in.
I am all about the triple F. Let your freak flag fly. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
And just the fact that it's on your phone, right? Any kind of weird shit that you want out there is on your phone. You could be waiting in line at the post office, and you're like tattooed German midget cuckold, right? And you're like, all right, and it's there. It's there. And there's lots of them. There's pages. And go ahead.
It's like you think I'm going to look at porn and it's never going to be on there. Nope, it's there.
Yeah.
It's there.
Oh, and okay.
And every movie's been spoofed.
Yes, Rule 34. If it exists, there's porn about it.
Or even at least mentioned.
Yes. Well, okay. So I got this idea for a sequel to Forrest Gump where he's just horny all the time.
I'm sure it's been done.
It got terrible reviews right out the gate when I just suggested it. But
Dan likes sucking my cock.
Lieutenant Dan's got a boner. Here. So I typed in Forrest Gump on Pornhub. Nothing. It came up something about. It came up like college girl peeing in the bushes. It's just or tickle torture and shit. Like nothing to do with Forrest Gump. And I'm like, I spelled it right.
Have you ever done tickle torture?
No. Okay.
Everybody will turn it down. Never, ever.
Listen. You're making me reveal some secrets. I am hypersensitive to tickling. Just even saying the word is making me want to faint right now. I won't reach above my head because it leaves my armpits vulnerable.
And there we have a confession.
Thank you very much, Sean from Arkansas. First time caller, long time listener.
You actually have me on X videos looking to see if they have Forrest Gump stuff.
Pornhub had nothing. And by the way, like I'm on Pornhub so much, I started getting Christmas cards from them. They're like, thanks, Sean. We got to increase our bandwidth or whatever. I was like, you're welcome, Pornhub.
You're welcome, Pornhub.
And you know what? I don't really like Pornhub because it's kind of commercial. And I know, let me say that again. It's kind of commercial. Okay. And here's the real reality of the real fucking thing. I remember the golden days of porn when I was a kid in the early 90s. You just have videotapes. That's it. And then
Do you
just
remember going to like your either finding your parents' stash or going to a friend's house and finding their stash on the VHS tapes, and they were horrible.
yeah, oh yeah. And that's just until I was like, 16 years old, I thought all porn was just found porn. You know what I mean? Like just porn scattered randomly across the earth, and you
It's
just happen to
magically
buy it.
delicious.
Like, look at that. Oh, the porn fairy left me a double-headed jelly dong stuck to a flat piece of rock. So I grew out of the phase of like the Barbie-and-Ken porn. It does nothing for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, glossy. Yeah,
guys
no.
with abs, the girls with breast implants trying to make their way through dental school. Like that's nothing. I need just close your eyes, pick a random person at Walmart, and you're making a movie. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like my confessions. They're real people.
And that's what it is. I like to think of real people. I don't want to think of like Pam and Tommy Lee. I want to think of my fucking landlord and the lady that works nights at 7-Eleven down the road.
Yeah, because it's attainable. It's, you can see that person. You're like, yeah.
Well, it's real. Here's the thing. So like you watch the Barbie and Ken porn, they're doing positions that most people cannot do.
Yeah, it's the Cirque du Soleil. Unless you are as far as I know, not a lot of us are in Cirque du Soleil. Yeah, not happening.
No, just like some of the stuff you see, and it's like, first off, I don't want to even think of myself in that vulnerable kind of position with my hands down, ass in the air, even if it was just alone in a room. I don't want to be that way. I'm not going to be comfortable like that.
Sean does not want to be pegged.
Okay, I didn't say that. You're fucking.
At least not of his ass in the air.
No,
so you don't do. So you wouldn't do.
Didn't
doggy?
say that.
So you would. So if you played that way, you wouldn't want to do doggy.
No, I'm just saying I couldn't do it in the athletic way that they do it to make sure it's a good camera angle.
Oh, okay. Where she's like almost her legs or his head's between his legs too.
Yeah, and he's doing some kind of like decathlon triathlete form of twister. It's like my arms would have given out by now. You're sitting here doing like a half a push-up, and I couldn't even maintain an erection at this point.
Oh my God. Having somebody can do push-ups while they're fucking you. Fuck yes. Sign me up. Actually been there, done that.
It's punitive. I like that concept. It's punitive correction and sexual at the same time. It's like being a naughty boy in boot camp.
It's like, oh, boot camp definitely paid off for you.
This is going swimmingly, by the way. You hear some weird stuff all day long.
Yes. Not all day long. People have a misconception of that's all we hear, and it's not. Still, what you can dream up is extreme is very rare. I do have a regular that likes to be trussed and stuffed like a turkey.
Hold on.
I've said this before.
We're not going past this.
I figured you'd want the whole scenario. He also likes to be, like a pig on a grill where you split roast them, but not the sexual split roast, like one in the ass and one in the mouth. We're actually talking about on a grill, or you can turn them. Like
he has a mechanism for that.
Mm-hmm. There's porn for this, by the way.
Oh, I'm sure. I think I've seen it before.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all kind. Let me ask you before I forget this, because I just thought of this. I was listening to another podcast, and they randomly brought up this porn scene I saw like 15 years ago.
Okay.
And it's incredible that somebody else had seen this thing.
You probably felt the same way when someone said, "Oh, yeah, I've seen Thanksgiving." I'm like, "Holy shit! Somebody else saw that piece of shit." So
Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So we're from the same tribe. Go on.
Yeah, we're of the same ilk in this one. So I was listening to a podcast, and they brought up this porn scene. This is a stretch. Do you know Kathy Jones? She's a mature porn star.
Nope. I don't recognize porn star names.
Oh fuck, man. They're like it's like UFC fighters with me. So anyway, she's an older lady that does porn, and there was a scene where like she called a delivery. This is like 95. Right.
Okay.
She called a delivery service and said she was constipated and needed some prune juice. Then two guys in milkman delivery uniforms showed up with a bunch of prune juice and proceeded to have a threesome, pouring prune juice all over each other. So shoot ahead 15 years later, I'm listening to this podcast and all of a sudden they're like, yeah, do you remember the prune juice scene? And I screamed like a black lady in church. I fucking went off. I'm like, yeah, people are looking at me like I'm stupid. I'm like, oh my God, and he said it. Because it's such a weird thing that they remember or to remember, and then they remembered it, and then we had this kinship. We had this kinship. It's like when people say, do you watch porn? No, I don't watch porn. I use it. I don't just sit there fucking drinking a Diet Coke watching porn. Like it's an activity. I don't just watch Thanksgiving dinner. Like, did you see Thanksgiving dinner? Yeah, it was nice. I'm still hungry though. I just left the room though.
It's kind of like I sent this porn to this person and he was like, oh, this is really neat. He goes, but it was a hitchhiking one. And he's like, do you think the cars that are going by where this guy hitchhikes realizes they're in a porn?
Yeah.
And I was like, good point. But why are you looking at cars? Don't you skip to the good part? I don't. You know, it's funny because when I look for porn, I do look for porn that's like 20 to 30 minutes. Yeah. Because I want a lot of scenes, you know, and I get
excited when I see it's like an hour and 12 minutes. Like, oh, it's like one of those fucking, it's going to have like, here's another stretch. Okay. Do you remember a porn movie called The Ghostess with the Mostess?
It sounds familiar.
It was like this couple with their son moved into this house and it was like Byron Long and there was like these horny ghosts and it was like, I think it was the first porn I've ever seen. And so it fucking imprinted with me. So I ask people that randomly and that's why I don't have a lot of friends. But anyways, so I think it's cool nowadays that, and I think it's helpful, by the way, in society that we have access to free pornography, you know,
yeah, but it's bad porn.
Okay. Oh, you know what? Fuck it. Let's delve into this one. Let me ask you this. Here's the question. Do you think it's helpful or harmful having access to whatever kind of porn you want?
Oh, I see. I can answer both ways here. Helpful.
I mean, we all go both ways here, sister.
I know, exactly. So helpful for when I'm by myself.
Okay.
Harmful for if you're watching it as a couple and you're trying to find ways to talk to your partner about how you want to explore. I can see where it's harmful because like we both said, the free porn that I know of that's out there doesn't really show that. It shows Cirque du Soleil in our gaping asses. You know, it doesn't really explain how maybe you should talk to your partner or the better porn, and I will admit most times is found on paid sites where the camera is like the most important thing is the lamp in the room. It doesn't exist. You see them really paying attention and really into each other. And I think that's where we're leading. This industry is really leaning towards is going back to that because anymore, the porn that you and I are just talking about, that's a quick, I mean, it takes longer to find a good porn to get off to than it actually does to get off.
Well, that's why I usually have like 10 pages pulled up and then I turn it into a flip book. I was like, I go like, you're a waitress, college co-ed, and your step uncle is finding you sunbathing in the garden. And that's 10 different films.
Yeah, there we go. I didn't even do that.
I agree with you. Okay, so the world's accepting a lot more things that were very taboo for a long time. Porn is so mainstream that most people know about Pornhub.
Oh, most people, yeah, absolutely. But don't you find it interesting that we live in the most sexually an open country, but yet we're still very, very close-minded about it?
That's very true. Do you think we're the most sexually open country?
I would say one of the most, but we have at least have the best access to porn and sex.
Like we don't beat Germany almost in anything.
That's true. Shoot, because they have from what I understand, legal swinging clubs. Well, I mean, not that we don't have them not illegal here, but everybody's like, oh yeah, that down the street right there.
I talked to a German girl one time. There's a thing in German pornography, in the mainstream German pornography, where golden showers are like a regular thing. Like it's a common part of the pornography. It was like, you know how like an American sex scene is like, you know, they get together, they have sex, orgasm. I know. Trust me, I'm American. But it's a part. It's like a thing that's included in what they generally view as pornography.
Now, would you? Okay, speaking of that, if you're with somebody that wanted that, would you?
Yes.
Me too.
Yeah, it's.
But I don't want it.
Yeah. So check it out. Check out In Bed with Nikki. 2 p.m. Cinemax. So I don't know. Here's the thing. Like,
but then you think about how sex goes and in the moment.
Well, that's
like
what I'm saying.
Right now, we're thinking logically. We're not in the heat of the moment and lust filled and everything else. Lust clouds the judgment.
No, don't. That gives it a negative connotation. Lust prohibits your inhibitions.
Okay, there we go. I agree.
And so what your inhibitions are I think personally, it's like that natural ingrained guilt you're supposed to feel about things that you shouldn't feel guilt about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you like something and then you're like, wow, I like that. Really what you should do is be looking at that and being like, that's a discovery of myself, and cool. That's now an addition to that's another Lego brick in the fucking model that I am. A lot of people, what they do is they'll repress it or they'll push it off, you know, and it's really fucking sad how that happens. The severity of what I'm asking you.
That's where a lot of my callers get that it's, you know, where some people says, well, I don't get how phone sex is still, you know, very popular when there's free porn everywhere. And I'm like, well, you know, free porn doesn't give you intimate. It's one step towards reality. You know, us getting off together or playing or exploring what you want, or you listening to some of my desires is one step towards being, you know, flesh and blood, though it'll never go that way.
It's just, you know, it's a hard thing to accept the things that you like. It took me a long time, you know.
But, you know, I watch gay porn. There is something very raw. There's something very just men suck dicks and fuck men differently than when they fuck a woman.
Because here's the thing, because men have a dick.
Oh yeah.
So we know, so you know a vagina better than I know a vagina.
Well, I should.
Without question. You know your way around it. You don't have to ask questions. You don't have to be like, do I go this way? You know what I mean? You know it. You get it. You got the map. Mm-hmm. Whereas I know a penis because it's like, I've had experience. I've been around one most of my life, in fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I have this thing. It's, you know, and my grandpa taught it to me. It said, if somebody wants to suck your dick, they're going to do a good job.
Oh, absolutely.
If they want to, because a lot of people do it out of duty and obligation,
no.
But somebody legitimately wants to suck your dick. I'm just saying, if you want your dick sucked and somebody wants to suck your dick,
I say go for it.
I say fucking go for it.
Go for it.
Quick story.
Okay.
I lived in San Diego for the majority of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Great city. Summer 2014, I drove Uber, and I did around 800 rides for Uber. And in San Diego, they have the Gay Pride Parade and Comic-Con on the same weekend because they don't think there's enough fucking traffic. During the day, I'm taking people to Comic-Con, and at night, I'm taking them over to University in Hillcrest. San Diego Pride is so huge. It's like one of the biggest ones.
Right.
That all these clubs, they just spill out into the street and they just basically cordon off streets because there's so many people. And it's really a fun time. Everybody's super cool and everything. So my nights would be for all weekend would just be going out to different parts of San Diego, picking up people and taking them over to Hillcrest, which is where all the parties were.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I'm kind of open and personable. And so I'm just having fun with these guys. I was objectified so many times. All night long.
Uh-huh.
Now, granted, I'm flattered.
Right.
And a lot of people don't understand how to accept flattery because
a compliment's a compliment.
A compliment's a compliment. Like if it's a dude more than a girl.
Oh yeah.
If a dude's like, hey bro, you fucking got like a tight ass, I want to fuck you, or whatever they say, like nice pants, you should be like, wow, like that actually means something. But a guy's like, you look good, you gotta be like, wow, fuck, really? You know what I mean? Like if Jason Momoa walked up and Chris Hemsworth and I was trapped in an elevator with him. And anyways, I'm driving around and, you know, I finally felt what women feel about catcalling, because it was like all night long. It was all night long. All night long. And it was like, okay, I get it. Like, I get it. Yeah, thank you very much. And I started to feel super pretty and it made me overly confident. You know what I mean?
I feel
like,
pretty, so pretty.
Yeah, I felt it was like Maria. Da, 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 in America. I don't know. It's just a weird dynamic in terms of how that was. But anyways, I enjoyed it. People were really cool. There there's one guy dropped off, good looking dude, got a beard, tall, built, muscular, kind of looked like a young Dolph
Like
Lundgren.
you.
Thank you.
You want? See, isn't that easy, ladies?
See,
Aw.
check out In Bed with Nikki. You're gonna find him anywhere podcasts so the guy I dropped, he's talking to me, and I'm like, so what do you got going on the rest of the night? And he's like, oh, probably gonna go home and look for somebody on Scruff. I was like, oh, it's Scruff. And he goes, you know what Yelp is? I was like, yeah. And he's like, well, it's like Yelp, but it's for like finding dudes you want to have sex with. I was like,
oh, kind of like Grindr then.
Like, I've been using Yelp wrong. Because I've been rating restaurants. I didn't know it was finding big European uncut dicks. Like, I guess nobody told me how to use it.
Oh, so that's why that got bad reviews.
Oh, because I keep getting all these weird emails, and it's like, am I spammed or? But no, it's by the way, and I want this to be said. I want this for posterity. We're well into like overall acceptance of homosexuality, but you know how there was like that old saying that was unpopular about how gay men are aggressive. Yes. That's true. Look, no, I'm not saying it's like a bad thing. It's not like a rapey aggressive. It's more like they're gonna shoot their shot. Like more than a straight man would with a girl he finds attractive. A gay man will 100% of the time shoot their shot because that's what they got to do. You know what I mean? It's not like you wear a bow tie or anything, but you got to try. And in many times in my life, I found it extremely flattering. You have to say thanks, but I really appreciate it. But or you don't have to say it, or you can just fucking quit your plans for the day and be like, you know what, let's just do this. I've been held on by many women, and I'm very flattered, but oh, here's the thing, and here's a weird perception. Like, as a man, when a girl, like, thinking of like you as a woman getting hit on by another woman, I think that's just like fucking guarantee. I thought that was like a home run. Like, yeah, you're gonna go home and do that shit I saw Shannon Tweed do on Cinemax. You see, I've been with a couple women, and it's just not my thing. I've tried, so I can honestly say it's not my thing. Unlike where most women go, oh God, no, I'm not a lesbian. It's like, no, I've tried. I've explored. It has nothing to do with lesbianism. No. It has to do with how many rum and cokes you've had. Every person is bisexual. Oh, yeah. Depending on their level of like enjoyment. Yeah. So I'm just, so I don't know. I'd rather think of like some coming up like, hey, what's going on? You're like, hey, what's going on? You're like, you want to come back to my house, put on some basketball shorts and scissor the night away? And you're like, all right, let me pay my tab. Now, I have said on my show that if I was with a lover and he wanted to watch me with a woman, absolutely, because I know I'd play off his arousal. There you go. No, yeah. and that's the thing too, is the spectrum of sex and sexuality it's very wide, and a lot, especially with today's climate and the precautions we're taking and the awareness we have with certain things and issues in terms of the community. A lot is lost in translation of like, dude, we're fucking apes and we're going to dry hump the fucking air into submission. So, it just, we tend to forget because of, and I mean, nothing denigrating to this, but I'm just in reference, like the Me Too generation, which I'm not saying anything about, and it's a definite horrible aspect of our society. But people forget and they shy away from their own sexuality. Oh, yeah. And we were doing so well, and I think because in conjunction of coming to light, like all these, institutions like Hollywood and stuff, where it was based on sex, it's hard to compete with that. And I hope in the long run it doesn't turn us into a society like in fucking Demolition Man. Yeah, where it's like, yo, here's your neural transmitter. Like, nah, we're gonna do it the old-fashioned way. Well, that's where I've explained on my show. I hate boxes. I refuse to use them on my show. I think it's easier for us as humans, and even we need places to put people. So, and I was in a chat room once, hosting a chat room for
a company, and this guy was left. Everybody else left but me and these two other guys. Yes.
Happy birthday to me.
I know. And this one we were talking about it because it was in the BDSM community, it was in the kink community. And he said, I am so tired of every kinkster I run into wants to put me, oh, you're a switch. Oh, you're this. And he goes, I'm actually just explorative and exploring things that I want to try.
Right.
And I said, exactly. I said, just because you want to explore doesn't mean makes you gay, doesn't mean makes you bi. It just means you're explorative and you're very sexual. That's what it makes you. It just makes you're coming to your sexual awareness of what you are. And I think it makes it easier for everybody else to put you in a category, because if you don't know where somebody falls, it's kind of like sometimes it's chaos for them and they have to have that neat organization. I think that's where we come up with that. And when somebody doesn't agree with what you are or who you think you are or your explorative nature, then it's easier for them just to say, oh, I'm done, instead of just letting you, even as a good person, naturally just seeing where you fall. Even if you like to suck a cock or you only want to suck a pussy, but you don't mind a dildo and all the other various things that you can and can't and won't and will do.
I 100% agree. And there's a lot of, there's just a lot of people with a lot of like mental blocks towards the stigma of things that they like. I'm not going to go too far into detail because whatever, but if you haven't tried it, then I'm sorry. There
are so many nerves on your
opening. Look, here's the thing. Here, just a suggestion. I get it. I know the arguments. Listen to me. I know the arguments. I know what it is. Take a shower. Get all fucking soapy. Make it a game. It's fine.
Exactly.
It's like anything you can clean.
Take a bath.
Take a fucking bath. But dude, bro, listen to me. You and me, Brian, every man, dude, it's amazing. It's amazing.
And ladies, there's nothing like bending over the bed when he bends you over and he thinks he's just gonna fuck you really hard, doggy style, and he sees a nice little jeweled plug.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, I just don't get it. I don't understand people that are like, you know how many people I met going back to just the normative heterosexual days when the dudes are like, I don't eat pussy. I'm sorry, what?
They're still around, trust me.
What is that? How is that even a thing?
They're still around.
How's that even a thing? What do you do? By trade, I have a Class A license. I'm a commercial driver. Nowadays, the driving schools are pushing out drivers that can only drive automatic commercial vehicles. Why would you restrict yourself?
Oh, yeah.
If you don't like eating pussy, let's say there's not, that cancels out a lot of things for you.
Yeah, it does.
So what are you bringing to the table? Because that LD, right? That long dick. That ain't always the issue, dude.
As I always say, just because you have a big dick doesn't mean you know how to use it.
Right? We've heard that since we were children. And here's the thing, and I like to say this, and I believe this, and I argue this point to the death. An orgasm starts before you even touch each other.
Oh, absolutely.
It's all in the communication. It's all in the initial magnetic attraction to each other. You got to work on that stuff, because by the time that you actually get hands-on with the project, that's the easy part. That's the fucking easy part.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's all the base beforehand.
Well, it's like, I've had questions. Well, how would I get you? And I'm like, see, you've got to be able to play with me mentally. You can't just walk up and go, hey, I'd like to fuck you. I'm like, great talking to you. You're not worth it. Nope, not working.
And here's the thing too, is the same thing with the guys. If a girl came up to me and said, I want to fuck you, it's like, that's kind of like, I need more of a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
You made it way too easy. Cool. I get it. Sex is cool, but you made it.
Talk to me after last call.
Yeah. And here's the thing too. Sex is like, it's a game. Everybody has their role. Mm-hmm. There's a standard set of rules based on whatever you set, and both people are trying to accomplish a goal. It's a game. It's fun. It's one of the most basic free human things in the world.
As long as both parties know, then yeah.
Yeah. With that having to be said, there's the bad side of sex.
Well, there's good and bad and everything.
But it shouldn't overshadow or turn away mankind's ability to open up sexually, move forward.
No.
For every horrifying story of assault, you know, there's people that are finding themselves. So it's a weird kind of push and pull in a dynamic. And so we're in a very precarious time. Whereas a people, it's like now we're allowed to be open sexually and it's encouraged. In fact, like what's the biggest thing lately? OnlyFans. Okay, listen, I'm just saying.
No, you're right though, but I have a mixed feelings about OnlyFans. Whereas somebody asked me, you know, because where I have a Patreon account, and eventually it's been rumored that Patreon is getting rid of all not safe for work content. You would be one of them. That it's a rumor, and I know somebody that's happened to.
No.
And yep. And
No.
huh?
What the fuck?
I know.
Dude, it's podcasting.
It's podcasting. Well, he was audio erotica. No nudes, but audio erotica.
It doesn't matter. That's art.
Technically, I'm audio porn.
We're not regulated by the FCC. There's no no. This is.
But they have a right to exactly. But they have a right to protect their business at the end of the day.
But if you have a disclaimer,
I know, and I do.
Legal.
It's everywhere.
I have a disclaimer. It mocks disclaimers, but it would still legally count as a fucking disclaimer.
Exactly. But they're starting to just, you know, oh hell, I told you I just got off shadow banning. Not after your show, but just got off shadow banning,
man.
But it's happening. And as I like to tell everybody that's all for this stuff, I'm like, if they get rid of me, you, and everybody else, what do you think's next?
Okay, so I love stand-up comedy. I love it. I admit every chance I get, I gave up on myself. There's circumstances that happened in the time that I walked away. But I acknowledge and love my sense of humor. It's brought me lots of acceptance in the world, and anybody worth his salt in comedy understands the importance of Lenny Bruce.
Yes.
Lenny Bruce went to jail so many times. Lenny Bruce knew beforehand if he went on stage and did a certain joke that he would go to jail.
Right.
And he did it. Lenny Bruce explained his use of the N-word to Clarence Thomas, who at the time sat on the New York State Supreme Court, explained his use of the N-word to Clarence Thomas. He died penniless and convicted. So people like you and me can talk freely.
Well,
and now we're going to pinch that fucking thing off?
Yeah. It's, you know, free speech comes, this is where I have mixed feelings about OnlyFans girls. OnlyFans girls, and this goes into sex and anything in life, kind of like used car salesmen. And they're like, oh, you're gonna be a used car salesman, really? You know, you get that feeling, you know. So there are women on there that do wonderful and do it well and do it the right way. But then you have the people that, I mean, hell, we all got hit up by them on Twitter. Come buy my photos. And it's a place I have thought about putting my audio on there, but honestly, it's known for pictures and, you know, and video. And as you know, as of right now, I'm anonymous.
I gotcha. It's just, I don't know. It's weird.
I kind of think we're still in some way trying to appease the pearl clutchers of the world right now.
Well, do you know what we're in right now?
We're in a mixed bag of shit right now.
We are in 1927.
Yeah.
We are, women are about to get, fuck, am I wrong on that? No, women had the vote in like 1919, right?
I think so.
Hold on.
Let's Google that. And you're
when did women get the vote? 1919. Oh, okay. I fucked up and saved it. Right. So say we're in like 1917.
Okay.
Things are changing. There's a social upheaval. Was this fuck? I am so terrible. Yeah, I'm gonna do it anyways. Fuck it. Email me at therepeatoffender@gmail.com.
Set us straight, please.
Margaret Sanger or Susan B. Anthony? Are those different times? Fuck it. You know what I'm saying?
Something
Women are
big- we're
fighting
on-
for the right.
Right.
There's social change and upheaval coming. We're in that moment now where it's like, okay, we kind of had a big sexual revolution. It's acceptable for a woman, like for example, to have an OnlyFans or to express herself.
Right.
We're forcing through the sperm to the egg of social acceptance. That's why a lot of times it seems very forceful when it's like, no, you have to accept this. We're getting through that time where in 5 years, all the shit that we're having turmoil over right now will be just the norm.
The sex business goes through this every 5 to 7 years. For some reason, it does.
You ever watch that vintage porn?
No, I haven't. I remember you're the second person tells me I need to watch it.
Back in like the 30s and 40s?
Yeah. Something's happening. It really is. But like with the shadow banning and stuff that's happening with not safe for work. And I know a bunch of authors that have been banned, erotic authors that are, shadow banned. And I see it, people talking about it all the time. And I understand by playing by the rules. I've done it for 17 years in my industry. I know how to do it. I know what I'm supposed to do. But when it gets bad is when you have these tech giants now, they say that here's the rules, but then they do the shadow banning. Right. When you're following the rules, because I don't want nobody under 18 finding my stuff.
You don't
but
want
it's not,
it, but it'll happen.
No, but no, because trust me, I went and pulled up my demographics the other day, and someone's not watching their child because I have like 4% or 0 to 17. So somebody right now is not watching their kid very well.
Look, here's the thing. America has set weird standards on the level of acceptance that we've conditioned ourselves to believe. Like the 21 to drink, where most European countries is 18. If you're 17 and you got like one of those little weird mustaches, watch Nikky. Yeah. I mean, don't, but
no, don't.
No, don't. We're
don't
at all.
You must be 18 years or older.
Yeah, like PG-13 with parental guidance. So just in no way we're accepting that.
Yeah,
but just,
no.
I mean, maybe.
But here's the thing, what I hate, and because I believe in transparency, and that's where I fight is transparency, and I guess maybe that still makes me the good and truthful woman or whatever. But I don't like heretic. Yeah, I don't like when people don't give me. I'm following your rules, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, but yet you don't like my bad dad jokes with dirty pictures, so you're gonna shadow ban me because apparently I'm harmful and share hate speech with my whatever the last joke I just did, which was a horrible dad joke, which a dad would tell, and it's not perverted at all.
Well, I mean, like we briefly talked about, I was banned for almost 7 months of 2020 on Facebook because
you gonna out yourself.
I made fun of white people. I was banned twice for using the term white trash. I was banned once for saying fucking white people in Spanish. Oh man.
Isn't that funny? Because the more stories I usually hear is from the other side.
No, I do. I am the Bill Maher. No, that's bad. I am like the fucking Sean Hannity for like just vicious liberals. I will fucking attack you. But just the fact that I said these things. And then here's the thing. Now I'm still getting updates from shit I put like 6 years ago. Like memes that were reshared on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's like that was on Facebook and I shared it. What are you talking about?
Wait a minute. This is your own shit I'm sharing.
This was on here. It's got a timestamp. What are you doing, Zuckerberg? Besides weirdly trying to drink water and act like a human being.
I hate, by the time I get done with Twitter, I hate it. I hate social media. And so a friend of mine will go, did you see what so-and-so? Nope.
No.
Not a clue.
Do you know?
I don't care.
Do you know what the secret is to being successful on social media?
Tell me.
Dude, you have to post all the time.
All the time. But that's what also gets you flagged.
But then you have to comment and you have to tag. And it's
nobody understands it's a full-time job. It is a full-time job.
Why do you think these companies are like, we're looking for a social media? Because most motherfuckers don't have the time to hashtag emoji. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. And I say this all the time and I'm not afraid to say it. We're all in the podcast community. We all want to be successful. And there's not a fucking person out there.
Go ahead. Yeah. See, I'm gonna have to debate you here because I didn't start this to be a success story.
But you want to be.
Actually, I only started it I told myself I made one more call a month, then I've done it. And if I get a letter saying thank you, and I've done those things. So to me, I've reached my goals. Am I following the flow of what's happening? Absolutely.
Okay. So I'm an asshole. I'll take it back. Most people are on here trying to find. They're trying to make
Right.
something, right?
They are. They are. Everybody I've run into is trying to be the next.
Trying, yeah, and I get it, right?
And,
like,
yeah.
I don't. I just like this. My new one, like rebooting repeat offender,
Mhm.
dude. I'm just gonna fucking put these out whenever. Like, I don't care. Like, I'll put them out every week and a half or so. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not going to torture people with the length of conversation, but I think they're interesting enough to be able to put out there, edited together, put it out there. Like, fuck it, man. We're going to talk about pegging people.
But but your definition of success and obviously mine are two different things.
Success to me is people love you and women worship you for what you do.
So like the guy at the end of I just saw it again where they go, suck it, Matt Lauer, that the land of the lost. Yeah, the guy in the jean shirt and the jean pants.
Oh,
and he's like, oh, all these women, I'll just stay here because the little ape dude says my women are ugly, and you find out they're actually really gorgeous, and you're like, this is great because they don't wear shirts, but they have really long hair that covers their breasts.
right.
Yeah. So you're that guy.
No, exactly. Yeah, no, exactly. No, okay. So
Suck
when I
it, Matt Lauer.
suck it, Matt Lauer. When I started podcasting,
Yeah.
it was about 4 years before I started listening to Joe Rogan. But it was so the first person I ever talked to was the transgendered woman I bought ecstasy from.
Hey, there you go.
And we talked about gay rights. And it's still floating in the ether somewhere. Like, I have an old laptop, I think it's on. I never really did anything with it. And then I just kind of puttered by in life. And then I started listening to Joe Rogan, and it kind of ignited me where I was like, dude, I wanted to do this a long time ago. Like, I've given up trying to do it, but I'm like, I want to do it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, it's not so much like I want to be like, I don't care about having Twitter followers. Like, that doesn't mean anything. I just want, like I said, I just want fucking people to follow me religiously like they do like political figures and hurt people in my name.
And actually, I've only listened to like a clip of Joe Rogan. That's it. I mean, I
And
know
is-
he is just because he's, on any media thing. I mean, if I met him in the crowd, I'd be like, hey, what's up? Nice to meet you. I wouldn't even know him. I seriously.
The thing about Joe Rogan, 100% about Joe Rogan is that he just started podcasting, and because he talked about the things he did and had the people on, it gave you this air of like, he just doesn't give a fuck. And everybody wants that. It was a sense of freedom for everybody, especially like if you're doing podcasting anyways. And then, he inks a deal with Spotify. It's like $100 million. Now he's a goal. It wasn't just like, oh, he's talking to these people. Now it's like, this dude just fucking made a life.
He could retire. And now that they're wanting to cancel him, they're kind of stuck with him. Because I would be like, yeah, cancel me. Void my contract, see what happens.
Dude, he was making
I know. Well, even
amazing money before that. Before that.
Oh, yeah, before that.
So you know how everybody has like stamps.com and all that stuff?
I have nobody.
I don't have anybody. And so he was like, he had stamps.com, but he was getting paid far more for like stamps.com. So every person gets stamps.com, they get like $2 every time they air. They were giving like Rogan like 50 grand up front to run 6 months of stamp.com.
Yeah, see, I've been like, hey, my car's paid for.
And all he had to do was like,
as you're walking, he's walking away, by the way.
I walked away, sorry.
Yeah, no, I did the whole he's walking away.
He's walking away. I mean, it looks weird on the video, but just in case, I've been pissing into a wine bottle. So
all right.
Well, I drove truck for a long time. I know how to adapt and overcome.
That's what that's something I'm like, I don't understand how women become truck drivers or mail delivery drivers or anything else, because I've got to pee every 2 hours, and it's not like a little tinkle. It's like I drink lots of water, so it's like, and working from home has spoiled me.
Well, okay, so I used to drive a truck up to LA every day.
Okay.
So I'm driving like a 75-foot combo vehicle up to Los Angeles every single day.
Uh-huh.
And by 7 o'clock in the morning, when you hit Carson, California on the 5, That's when the LA traffic really starts.
Joy.
That it would take me around that time to finish my extra large coffee from 7-Eleven, like full caffeine. And I would still be like a half hour away from the job site, and the traffic would be dead stop. And I'm in a condo cab where they had the sleeper. So I just fucking park my brakes and I get back and I piss in my coffee cup. I can't. What am I supposed to do? What exactly am I supposed to do at this point?
Exposure or coffee cup?
Well, and here's the thing too. There's a stigma amongst truck drivers. They piss in water bottles and they'll fucking throw it out their window. So you see all these water bottles. Yeah, no. And then everybody's like, that's disgusting. It's like, not every truck driver does that. But you also got to realize we got a giant vehicle. We can't just pull into 7-Eleven.
Right.
If you got to piss, dude, what are you supposed to do? But at least I said, I kept it in my coffee cup. But
don't throw it out at us. Just
no, and then I threw it away. I'm respectful. There's other gross fuckers out there that did that stuff. And then there's a lot of incidences where I almost drank it because I'm like, oh, coffee. It's not coffee.
I'm not in the desert.
Here's a weird phenomena. Even if you've never tasted urine, the second you get urine in your mouth, it's urine.
Well, yeah. I would.
Isn't that weird?
It would. It's kind of like I had an injury once, and they always, because of this certain injury, I can still smell it when I talk about it. I'm sure that that tastes like it smells.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know. Just saying, it's like a sixth sense. You're like, God, it's urine. Like that's weird. That's weird that it's my sense.
I'm really dehydrated. That's awful dark.
Oh man, I should drink more water at this point in the day. So, anyways, yeah. So it's just we're in this weird revolution. Sexuality in America, at least, is fighting a really tough battle right now.
We'll come out of it just like anything else. It's, you hear of all these people, well, we should boycott. We should boycott it. Like anything, it'll iron itself out and it'll go back to something. It'll make a new normal. We just have to find the new normal. And we need to learn to coexist too.
There's two rules in life that never get broken. Death is inevitable and everybody fucks.
Absolutely. And if you're not, you really should.
Yeah, because you're gonna die, so get busy fucking, right? Because those two things kind of go hand in hand.
And bad sex is just bad sex. Don't have sex just to have bad sex.
Yeah, that's a weird thing too. Have you ever been in a relationship where sex becomes like the back burner?
Yes.
Where it's just like it's more of an obligation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just it's a really sour situation, but it's a very easy rut to get in. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. I mean, I get it. There's kids, there's jobs, there's stress, and I know someone pointed out to me about my show. They said your show is just too romantic, and I'm like, well, my show is not about. I take everything out of it. That the news, the weather, your job. I mean, it's supposed to relax you and to make you see that there are other people living these. We're all adapting and sex lives and everything else. And that's what it focuses on, is just the erotic confessions of people. It's not supposed to be out, well, you had a horrible day at work. I stay completely away from all that stuff just so you can unwind, and maybe it will give you an idea for your partner or whatever.
It's just, I don't know. It's like,
but I think there comes to a point that also, if you're not kind of like the email I answered this week, he was explaining that his wife, through medical conditions and stuff like that, but she's not meeting him halfway. She's always shutting him down. And to me, that, not knowing the whole situation, and I didn't want to badmouth her, but to me, that's a very selfish lover. Very selfish that she's like, that she can't go, well, that hurts me. So can we try this? Again, it's communicate. And I think we are still in areas in the world, or, especially in this country, that we're still brought up to say sex isn't everything. Well, sex is part of a relationship. It's still part of the kink. And I think when somebody says sex isn't everything, it then becomes the last thing you worry about when you're in a relationship. And don't get me wrong, paying your bills and making sure the kids are fed and everything else that mundane that nobody wants to do, that you have to do, it just seems like it falls very, very last. But again, like any chain, it only takes one link to get weak, and then the rest of it fail.
Yeah, it's a very unfortunate situation to find two people that have come together in this, where initial attraction was what brought them together, and just to find it dissipate. And I think it's very important in terms of like the health of a relationship for people to explore what they want, and that's a very hard thing for people to do. Going back to what we were talking about, like people making denials of what they like, or just like shutting out. They're like, oh, I don't think I should like that, but I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I don't know. Just watch more porn, dude. It's fucking Pornhub is free. It's fucking free. No, I'm sorry. Pornhub's commercial. X videos is free, right? RedTube is free. X Hamster is free.
Have you ever met somebody that you finally feel like you found your sexual, and not just sexual, but everything else too, that you're like, oh my God, I click, and you're totally open and there's no secrets and it's all on the table. You know that this person wants this, and you like the way you may never thought about it, but then now it's like, oh, well, I see in his eyes or her eyes how they're talking about it and how it arouses me, but I'm attracted to her. And now I realized I'm getting aroused because they're aroused by it, but okay, let's try it. And then you find out that actually you really click, and then everything else is falling into place.
No,
I have.
No, because I've had a similar thing to that, but I actually found out at the end of the day I didn't want the person.
Yeah, because you could find out the person just, I mean, that at the end of the day, it can't just be sex. You have to have everything. Like I said about the sex, it can't just be everything but sex. It has to be give and take on everything. But
well, let me ask you this. What about a situation where, somebody has a high sex drive and they're not against, an emotional relationship, but say the emotional relationship overtakes the sexual relationship, right?
Are you talking about them finding somebody else? And
No. I'm just saying like a relationship that moves away more from the physical and barely hangs on to the emotional, but there's still the attraction there, but it's like stonewalled.
So they're
and
friends.
I think that they're like roommates.
Okay.
I've talked to people like this. I've seen things like this happen. I've read it in things. I've watched it in Richard Gere movies.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, coming from me, because I'm a deviant.
No.
It's fine. You have no idea. Yeah, no, there's shit I could talk about for a Patreon series. It's hard when you're deviant to find people that can be deviant with you. And when they're not at the depth of your deviancy, you feel like they're falling short. And obviously, this is a thing that happened to me earlier in life, because I'm an old man, obviously.
How old are you?
39.
Okay. How old do you think I am?
God, please be 16.
No.
Was I off?
Wow.
32. What if I don't know how to age people, Nikki?
Well, especially since you can't see me.
Yeah, no, I have no. I see a thigh. You're 22 in the picture. I see.
That's not me, and I'm 43.
Oh, well, I was making a fucking big deal for nothing.
I know, right?
You're basically right there with me. We're in that 4-year fucking mark.
That's okay. Everybody has me at 32 to 35. So,
it's weird. Ageism is a weird thing, right?
It is.
Me personally. Okay, how do I unpack this? Okay, so there's a difference between what you want and what you fantasize about. Do you agree?
Absolutely.
Okay. For me, you watch porn, and that's stuff that's like, I don't really want anybody to ever really do that.
No, but I don't mind watching them do it.
I don't mind watching them do it, because at the end of the day, they got to make their peace with God. I like older women, and there's no nice way to say it where you're not going to feel guilty by saying older, more experienced, things like that. But I like a woman up there.
Isn't it funny that it's easier to say, I really like an older man, but to say an older woman, you feel trashy, or maybe trashy is the wrong word.
Well, no, it's like, I want to go get some pussy at bingo. You know what I mean? Like, I'll break it down. I'll break down the psychology of it.
But
Older woman.
They're actually the horniest.
Yeah, older woman probably hadn't done it in a long time. Either that or they've been in a stale ass marriage, no condoms, most likely no diseases. You're gonna be if you're a horny
I don't
young
know.
person.
I read something that most STDs very, 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 very much pass. Don't go to a nursing home, but go on. Or
Gonorrhea
grass
from-
or something.
I got gonorrhea from Betty Crocker. It's a hornier thing. You know what I mean? Like they're not gonna be like, ew, that's disgusting. Or I don't do that. They're gonna be like, yeah, let's do this because I got like a doctor
there is
appointment.
something about older people because when you talk to somebody older, especially men hit that sex prime again
twice.
again. I know, right? So you've got another 20 years, but
I'm telling you. Okay, listen. On the left side of my head,
uh-huh.
above my ear, I have a gray patch. Right.
Oh,
That makes me look like either Mitt Romney or a comic book villain.
oh, there you go.
And then I'm starting to get gray hairs in my fucking beard. I'm gonna start doing. I'm doing push-ups. Right. I'm eating bran. I'm gonna fucking be a silver fox.
There you go.
And I'm gonna be hitting up pools like, hey.
Then you're gonna get a bunch of 30 and 40-year-old women going, hello.
Well, no. Here's the thing.
Are you gonna only hit on 20-year-olds?
No, confession time.
Okay.
Dear In Bed with Nikky. I attend a small Midwestern college in the Northwest. My favorite kind of fantasy pornography there's one called Blue Pill Men.
Uh-huh.
Where these men that are clearly almost in their late 60s get these girls in their 20s who are looking to pay for college.
Oh, you wanna, yeah. Sugar baby.
Dude, it's the juxtaposition of a clearly older man, and the pristine porcelain skin of a younger woman. And there's just something about that where it's like, fuck yeah, I get it, Grandpa. I mean, I can't define it, but there's plenty of categories for it. I don't know. That's what kind of does it for me when I think about stuff like that. Is like, obviously, their consent, and she's like 23 and she's got to pay for nursing school, and fucking Jack is a millionaire. You know what I mean? And it's like, hey, and you're like, fuck yeah. I just don't know. I don't know a more eloquent way to explain it than fuck yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah. But you're right. But I mean, if you're wanting to tap an older woman right now, the age range of 50 to above, is really now, like we said, now that it's okay to start exploring and now it's okay for women to be sexual and more than it was when they were younger. Think about it. They are out on the prowl.
Well, let me ask you this. Is it so much the age, like the number, or is it the mentality?
Oh, for me, it's the mentality.
I know this is a very misogynistic thing to say, but as a ambassador for the male species, a woman who's already having a kid is kind of more attractive, I guess.
Oh, well, that leaves me out.
I
have a golden retriever, and that's it.
I'm not discluding. I'm just saying.
Hear that? He's saving himself.
Yeah. Like a 28-year-old Mexican single mom. 100%, right?
Well, you know why? Because it shows she's fertile and willing, and she's had sex at least once. I have no proof.
Well, what if, just be happy there's people like me and not somebody that's going to be like, I like a woman who has a golden retriever.
Most of the men that actually are brave enough to reach out and say hello, they are older. Like, most of them actually are from the UK and Scotland right now. I'll fly you over. Wait, our country's shut down. You've got cooties.
Oh, Nikky, look. I know this is terrible to say. I realize.
Be nice to my UK lovers.
Because of the Harvey Weinstein thing, I get it. Fly over there. Absolute worst case scenario, bad sex. But you could go over there, you could eat some good food, get a free plane ride, maybe he lives in a fucking castle. And he's like, oh, hey, I have enough money to where I think it's just a good idea, right? And everything has fun, and you go home, and there are those things that happen.
I don't know if he can touch my body and make it awaken. That
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. If some guy hit me up and it was like, hey, listen, I like your voice. I like your facial hair. I like the thing you do with your eyebrows when you're trying to make a point. I don't know how this is going to work. I will pay you 100,000 pounds to come suck my dick at Edinburgh Castle. I'm not going to make an initial reaction on that.
First of all, I've never gotten that offer, but I'll let you know if I ever do.
100,000 pounds? Was that like $5 American? No, actually, I think pounds were I think
it's more expensive for us to live over there.
yeah. So
We're better off
100,000
in Mexico.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm just saying it's more dangerous down there. But I'd rather go to like Edinburgh Castle in Scotland and get
Uh-huh.
rogered by some horny old fucking Highlander and walk away with at least a brand new truck.
So 100,000 pounds to US dollars right now would be $138,776.13
There's not a lot I wouldn't do for that.
for
No,
138,000.
here, listen. I'm sorry. I know this goes against like the. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hit me up on Twitter, therepeatofender@gmail.com.
He will suck your dick for
I will
100,000
suck
pounds.
your dick for 130,000 pounds. Okay, think about the hardest you've worked in your life for the amount of money you made in a year. Like before we recorded, I told you I worked in North Dakota.
Uh-huh.
It's terrible. It's good money. It's terrible conditions. Awful. You're away from your family. It's terrible. So now you're presenting me with this option where I fly to Scotland and all I got to do is gargle some Mel Gibson Braveheart looking dude's sack for any amount of time, which as I would imagine would be less than a half hour.
I don't know.
Bro, even if it's an hour,
Okay, that's better.
even if it's even if like for some reason he jerks off like 4 or 5 times a day and like gargling his sack takes him a little bit longer. That money that you made right there should not only pay for your pride, it should pay for your car. It should get you out of debt and provide you with a brand new life. And you're fucking right. I'm going to be on that plane. Air Lufthansa. I'll fly coach. I will eat peanuts. Anyways, I just saying, like, think it through before you do it. So
All inquiries to have him suck your dick, please send them to Nikky at nikky@dearnikky.com.
fucking send it to her. No, man. Like, dude, you fucking listen. If you sent me, if one day, like a week later, you're like, hey, Sean, you thought you were joking, right? But fucking Sir, whatever, Corton Scott over in Light My Fart Scotland wants you to come,
My fart Scotland, nice.
wants you to come there and play with his foreskin for like, say he's 60 grand. Yes.
Yes. I'm
Yes. Are you stupid? Like, okay. The creepy guys that you should be wary are not offering a lot. 60? Yes. And it would obviously have to be wired to me before I even set foot in an airport. Yeah. Or like do like a repeatoffender@gmail.com, do half up front and then we'll take care of afterwards. We'll settle up, but I'm sorry. I'll say it right now. It's 2021, 8:30. I'll suck a dick for 68 grand. 68 grand? Like, fuck off.
68 grand. Are we doing that in pounds or are we doing that in dollars?
I don't give a shit if it's pesos. That's still like fucking $300 American.
Peso? That's kind of cheap for.
What if you like sucking dick? Then you're just getting paid for something you like doing.
That's true. Yeah, but you
68 grand? Look,
careful.
Nikki, look, I get it. I've seen Hostel. I've met really fucked up motherfuckers in this world. I've seen shitty things that I wish I could unsee.
Should we put a stipulation you want to have them have a shower first? I'm asking as a friend.
We're gonna go off the natural instinct that most people are gonna be like, if I'm gonna have about to have an encounter with somebody.
Okay, and $68,000 pesos, by the way, is only $3,411.57.
I said 300. It's way more than I thought.
Oh, see, I think you're selling yourself cheap. I mean, you just told Scotland you would do what would we say it was? Whatever it was.
Nikki, I'm just saying, okay, look, if I'm going that way, if I'm crossing that line, it's going to be Hispanic male, uncircumcised, mid-20s. I haven't thought about it. I'm just saying that's probably what I'd go with.
And legal.
And obviously.
Of age.
I mean, that
we have to put that stipulation in there. We're getting
I just can't even believe that has to go without saying. Yeah, I said mid-20s.
I was focusing on I was worried about your monetary gain here.
No, I'm not trying. Look, I'm trying to run a business. All right. I got employees. I got insurance.
Well, $3,411.57 isn't going to pay for a lot. You need to up your peso amount.
If somebody gave you $3,000, it would help your life substantially.
Yes, it would.
You could pay off all your credit cards.
Yes.
There you go. I'm not okay. Look, I get it. Like I said, like I keep saying, we're fighting against the other dark side of this issue.
Okay.
I understand, and it's terrible, and sex trafficking and assault and all those things that Liam Neeson is defending us against.
Oh, give me Liam Neeson.
Oh God,
yes.
there's just no time for a dick measuring contest, Stuart. Yeah, it is. Pull it out, Liam. Anyways,
I would give him the fucking phone book and just sit and listen.
Dude.
Yeah.
There is still a world where people like to fuck. And that's what we're talking about. repeatoffender@gmail.com/go fuck yourself. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about the people in this world that are still that love sex, that understand the rules and the boundaries. I'm gonna blow him Liam Neeson in his home in Scotland, and he's gonna pay me a substantial amount, and I'm gonna get a credit in the next Taken movie.
That you kept him happy?
Because I kept Liam Neeson happy.
So you would be, what's it called? Morale support.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Sean. That was amazing. Yeah, no problem, Leanne. I just appreciate. Could you be her at 8:00? Yeah, I guess I'll just put her on the set.
Really
and
think
stuff.
you really think Liam Neeson has a masturbation schedule?
I know. I think he has a massive dick, though.
Oh, I bet he does.
It's fucking just a giant shillelagh hanging there, 6 inches of foreskin, just this big curd fucking banana. That's why he has all that confidence.
And if he wears if he's wearing a kilt, I definitely want to see.
Oh man, I'm telling you, be still my heart. I got the vapors. I can't believe it. This reminded me of something. I used to work for a guy. Like I was the executive right hand of a guy who had a lot of money. He did this website. It was called seekingarrangements.com. And it was where sugar daddies found sugar babies.
Right.
Which is fine. Sex work to me is the most pure form of consent in the world.
It's everybody's pissed off because they can't tax it. Right
it's
now.
It's like somebody has money, somebody wants money, you find that, they're okay with it.
Who cares?
That's the perfect form of consent right there.
Mm-hmm.
They both get what they want. So this guy used to it was like Tinder for rich people.
Pretty much.
Well, fuck it. He had jungle fever. Is that still a thing? Can we say jungle fever?
Sure.
Okay.
I guess. I mean, but yes, it's still a thing.
He used to get these girls. He'd be like, I'll pay you $2,000 a month to live with me. It was my job to pick them up. So I'm picking up these girls that I've never met in my life that are 15 years younger than me. Driving 3 hours with them. You know, I'm trying to make normal conversation, but eventually I'm just kind of curious, like, so you fuck older guys for money, huh?
Oh,
I didn't say that, obviously. So anyways, the worst part of the situation is when, and this happened a couple times, is he would call me, tell me he was done with her.
Oh.
And tell me that I got to come pick her up the day that he decided this. And then when I get there, he decided he was going to tell her why I'm there.
Oh.
Then I have to drive 3 hours
with her pissed off in the back seat.
Front seat.
Oh.
I'm like 34. She's 22.
Yeah, but in his defense, you knew.
And I'm I'm 15 minutes into the trip.
Oh no.
And I have to, and she's asking questions where I have to be like, you'll never get that answer. It's not good for your health to ask it.
But at what point do you really want to go, if it makes you feel better? And this maybe makes me a horrible woman. Where do you find the way to go in a month? Somebody else will be on your spot doing the same thing. Don't, you've got more ahead of you. When do you give that speech? Because obviously in a month, as you just said, you're going to be in the same spot again.
Well, I've given that speech twice.
Yeah.
The longest one was almost an hour and 45 minutes where I had to explain. It was like, listen, I don't know how to give you the answers you want to, but clearly you're not built for this because this is the name of the game. Doesn't mean I agree with it. Doesn't mean I want anything to do with it, really.
Right. It's hard because she was with him day in and day out. And as they say, if you talk to someone every day, just talking, I'm not talking about being in the same house with them. I'm talking about someone that you talk with them every day, like maybe pour in some kind of emotion with them. They were living with him. Even they may be paid, but eventually, it kind of, I could see where fantasy kind of bled a little bit at that point. But what was he doing to say? Because women, sometimes we build that fantasy, and I'm not saying that we're guilty, but I'm sure there was maybe some things that maybe he just wanted that girlfriend experience and he had this, but at what point is it his responsibility to remind them and rein it?
Context, this guy fucked me over big time.
He was a
Yeah.
douche, so he probably didn't.
Total douchebag. He would give them the girlfriend experience. Not just like if you're trying to, raw dog a random, but like he would just straight up like take them to dinner, fuck them, put them in the hot tub, serve them breakfast kind of stuff, and then dump them.
But again, they know why. It's not like...
No, they thought he made an extra effort to make them think. They thought they were staying. They thought because dinner was really nice and they had drinks and they sat in the hot tub and then he put his dick in them. Like I hate to at the risk of sounding misogynist. There's kind of it's kind of like a pattern to this. You know what I mean? But you have to be respectful of both sides. The natural bent for women is if you're complimentary to them, that's breaking down all their defenses.
No, it's the same for men. It really is.
Okay. You're right. To be fair. So both sexes, if you're complimentary and you're showing interest, for guys, it's like going into a strip club. And they meet a girl and she's dancing for him and she gives him that fantasy, and the guy's automatic thing is like, yeah, I'm the most important guy in the world, and then he gets with these girls and he's just like, yeah, here's my house, here's my hot tub, here's money I'm gonna spend on you, and then he's like, all right, I'm done with you. You're fucking with somebody's like senses right there, because it's one thing to be in a situation where it's like we're gonna fuck, that's it. It's another thing where you're like creating this fantasy and then shattering the reality later on, and that's where you get fucked up people. That's where you get really fucked up people,
right? And
it happened several times when I worked for this guy, and it ate at me. Because it was like, this is so against my sensibility.
Well, yeah, because you were cleaning up his shit.
Well, dude, you can't treat like I'm not saying I'm a fucking saint, but damn, dude,
he knew what he was doing. Clearly, he knew what he was doing.
Clearly, he would tell me beforehand. This was, by the way, this was in the last like 8 months I worked for him when I started to be like, this guy fucking sucks. Like, you suck, man. Like, I hate to tell you, like, it's one thing to go out and try to get some pussy. It's another thing you're just kicking people to the curb left and right.
Yeah.
Like, but somebody's gonna kill you one day.
Someone's either gonna kill him one day, or he'll meet somebody that actually did something for him and she'll be him. I'm like, oh no, this is just a transaction. And he'll get so wrapped up and that's what happens. That's what happens.
Knowing this guy and everything that I went through, because this is like a sour point for my life. If you were ever close to me, this is like a thing that to this day still gives me a twitch to my eye. And this guy was a heartless, self-centered person. Like, I don't know if I've met a lot of fucked up people in my life. This guy was just like genuinely, like, I don't even think heartbreak's gonna fuck him over. Like, I think he would step over his children for 10 grand.
Oh,
ooh, yeah, dude. I don't know if you've ever been close to somebody like that.
Yeah,
it is it's just weird. It's a weird feeling, especially if you have any sense of decency inside you, to be near somebody like that, to deal with them and see the way they think and the patterns and how they treat people. It's very sociopathic. It's weird. Sorry, I went off on a tangent. Anyways, fuck that guy. I felt bad for these girls, you know what I mean? Because along with sexuality, there's a thing you have to keep in mind is somebody's state of mind.
Right. Well, I'm still stuck between, and because I don't want to defend him. I really don't. But I'm still stuck between they were on that. And according to you, it sounds like they knew this was just, but again, you get in there, emotions get involved. And the walls come down, and maybe that was his stick. Maybe he's like, I'm going to get her in here and I'm going to work for it until her walls come down, and then bam. And then it's like, who fucked you over so bad that you did this?
Nobody. Here's the thing. Like, I am not.
Yeah.
Regardless of what people, I am not a sensitive person. Like, this shit still affects me to this day. This man's very existence and just the way he treated people was so offensive to even my sensibility.
He'll come back threefold.
Like, you are a terrible human being, and I'm saying this, and I'm a Navy sailor who's been in Australia, and you are a terrible human being. By the way, any listeners, if you're American, they love American men in Australia. I don't know how to explain it. I wish there was a better way to portray it.
I'm confused now.
The fact that you were American in Australia.
Yeah. Well, you said men. Is it just American or just men?
American. If you're an American man
No,
in
I have
Australia.
heard that. Yeah.
There was a couple times where I even had to ask in a bar, it's like, are you soliciting me? And they're like, no. And I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ask that, but you're really interested in me. And you are clearly out of my league. Like, I had to get
Maybe I should go to Australia.
I'm telling you, like it was very confusing me because like I wasn't always the semi-handsome, semi-funny, semi-bearded person I am nowadays. I was kind of goofy. Just how easy it was to talk to a female in Australia. It was very confusing. It was like in America, you're getting shut down everywhere you look. But you go to Australia and you're like, hi, and all of a sudden they've turned their entire body towards you and they're talking to you and you're like, what's happening? It's amazing to the point where I had friends in the Navy go AWOL and stay in Australia. One of them had a full-time job. I was like, dude, that's incredible. You were ready to fucking go AWOL in the Navy.
Wow. I was supposed to go. I saved for a long time and I had this plan for over 2 years, but I was supposed to go from Hawaii and all the South Pacific Islands and stay in Australia for a week. And I was going to be gone for like 28 days or more, actually more than that. I didn't get to go.
Outside of my misogyny, Australia is an amazing country to be in. Overall, people seemed happier. And it's a weird thing to say, but it was just like it's a noticeable difference in America, and then you go to Australia and everybody's like chipper, like everybody you talk to. Like talking to a bank teller, like everybody's a fucking bank teller at 9 a.m. You're like, oh, okay, hi, yeah, come here, give me a hug. Anyways, can I get a pack of cigarettes? I'm just like one of my secret goals is to retire in Australia. It's a beautiful country and just I want to be
an expat too. So we'll go to Australia together.
I'm a cannabis grower. Australia, when you get some laws, I will bring strains over there and we'll work together. You
have strains to offer. I have my voice. That's it. I could work on their radio stations.
That's what I'm saying. Like, no, it's just so like cannabis is when it blows up, and so growers are actually a necessary commodity. America's one of the more restrictive countries in terms of cannabis. It was Canada, I believe, that recently shipped like 90 metric tons of cannabis to like Spain. Nice. But America doesn't do anything like that. America won't ship that kind of thing. And it's crazy how the industry is expanding and getting bigger almost daily.
I know that someone works with a friend of mine. Her son, once it became legal, he's growing his own strain, and he works in it's amazing that some things that you wouldn't even think of as we were kids growing up, that they're actually people wanting to go grow strains and be part of the movement. And it's like, if I would have went to college just a little bit later, I don't know if I would have studied being a sexologist with a minor in entomology. I think I would have gone into beer distillery and like all this stuff, because it popped up right after I left. And it's like, if you woulda, it's like all the cool shit came after.
It's definitely like, for example, so I've just purchased a property and I'm 3 weeks out from taking possession, and cool. I've got an investor and a builder, and we're gonna put up a big grow on the property and everything like that. As it expands, it becomes more acceptable. What it's doing is creating jobs, it's creating revenue stream through licensing, things like that. You pay people $15 an hour to do something low maintenance, like deal with cannabis. And now you have an economy that's opening up where people can afford to pay their bills and do things after a 40-hour work week. It's changing like every day. Like Virginia just got laws. Like Virginia, these are the people that are still battling incest. And they just got cannabis laws 2 Fridays ago.
See, we got ours last summer.
Where are you at?
Missouri.
Oh, you guys got yours last summer.
Yep. It's still so brand new here that not a lot of places are selling. I think we only have 2 places. One's kind of by me.
See,
doctors are starting to finally pop up.
See, what you're doing is you're telling me that cannabis is new in Missouri. What I'm hearing is $5,500 a pound in Missouri right now.
Yeah.
Hey, Missouri, call me.
Call him.
Repeatoffender@gmail.com. We'll subtly talk about the industry. Oh fuck, dude. Like this shit's gonna blow up one day, and if you don't make your money in the next 3 years, you might as well expect to be a millionaire in the brewery business, because you won't. Maybe. I'm just saying, because like the price fluctuates so much in terms of like cannabis per state, depending on, like, Oregon had that thing where they had a glut of cannabis and they were going for like $1,000 pounds out there.
When I went home to Oklahoma, and this was probably about 2 years or more, or maybe right at 2 years that it became legal, and you could not go more than a mile in some places and not run into a cannabis shop. Oklahoma.
I have a friend who's he has a license to grow up here. And he's been posting stuff on social media about grows in Oklahoma. And I follow a lot of grows and cannabis pages on Instagram, and there's a lot of grows going up in Oklahoma right now.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, we're talking like 30 by 90 foot greenhouses going up on these places. Right now I do about 100 plants, but a lot of these places are upwards of like 1,500 to almost 4,000 plants, just for a single thing. And then you stack that and you're getting like 6,000, 7,000 plants. And it's insane how this thing is going. And right now, if you think about in Michigan, the average price per pound is $3,800 per pound. And some of these places are putting out 300 pounds per month.
I don't think it wouldn't have got to where it is if Colorado wouldn't exploded.
Well, Colorado, I guess, from what I've heard, is a bunch of Northern California hippies who were, they couldn't find their footing in the hills and then moved to Colorado. So cannabis started with a bunch of people up in the mountains, in a couple different states trying to hide it, and came up with these amazing strains. And then as it goes on, now people are looking at new ways to grow it and new things to unlock in cannabis, THC A and B, things like that. Like, I had some cannabis the other day that I bought that was like 28%. And when we were kids, since we were in the same era, the cannabis was like 17% max. And some of this stuff will make you cross-eyed.
Oh, I bet. I have no doubt. When I was in Oklahoma, my brother let me try some. I'm not going to say who it was, but I tell you what, because he was like, because I stayed in a hotel. And he was, I'd never experienced the munchies, but I did edibles. And he was like, I was fucked up. And I didn't realize that I'm one of those people that get majorly horny on cannabis. Majorly.
Well, you know what? I think there's a pretty widespread audience of that. Cannabis is definitely an enhancer, definitely 100%.
Yeah.
Especially like, so I'm a heavy smoker, and a lot of people around me can't smoke as much as I can without getting lambasted. But it definitely enhances it. It's definitely things. I think it's 100%. Like, especially if you're a couple and you're trying to experiment with new things, smoke some weed. Smoke some weed.
Definitely
take an edible.
Exactly. It's like a good glass of wine, except it definitely lets you relax the inhibitions.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like you're sitting there, you're trying.
You want to try
like,
anal the first time? Cannabis.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's fucking Valentine's Day. You want to try something new? You eat an edible. Next thing you know, you're getting fucking ass eaten for like 20 minutes.
Exactly.
It's a thing.
And you should try. Very much try.
Oh, 100%. And I'm just saying, like, get super baked the first time and just do your thing. Just do your thing.
Do your thing.